Hi, welcome to the session. So in this session we discuss about some few tools which are new or some plugins which we can use for increasing your working speed in Maya. So I would recommend you guys to try a few plugins that you can find in internet available for free, or there are some plugins which you can use for trial purposes so that you could easily practice. You can find out which tool suits you or adapts your work style so that you can increase your work speed in Maya. Because few plugins that people are comfort with, few plugins people are not comfort with. So you find out which one is your comfort, then you can work according to it. So here are a few plugins. Now look at this. This is a gun. We are already done the UV. So you have done the UVs here, 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 here. So UVs are all done here, and I would like to name this as texturing the what the sales scene as, and I save this as my gun texturing. It's like gun UV done. Okay, and this time, if you remember, let me tell you a few more things in Maya. For example, let's see that we have a polygon object where we have a cylinder. Okay, then we have a sphere. Great. Then we have a plane. Okay, so there are three different kinds of objects we have here, and look at this one. This is a plane. Yeah, great. So here what I do is, if you want to texture this, if you want to make any modification or changes with this one, for example, let me extend like this. Okay, and before you apply any texture on this, now look at that. I would like to enable my checkerboard here. Look at that, the checkerboard, the texture is elongated. It's because we have made some changes here. So before we apply that, before we apply any texture, we have to fix this. That's why we do these things, which are shift right click, and we have what is that, mapping, and we have a planar map y-axis. Look at that. You will get the planar map y-axis here. Now it's done. Now like that. Now you can see it's properly done. So that's the reason why we UV unwrap a 3D model. Okay, you have, so only then the texture will sit properly, unless the texture won't sit properly. So you have to done this. So mapping, planar map y. Good. Then similarly, let's take this object here. So for this object, look at that, it's not properly done. Maybe I can select this object, and I can switch to some of switch to versus mode. I pull them up. Okay, so there's a cylinder here. But look at that, this faces are not perfectly matching with this faces. So in this case scenario, since it's cylinder, all we have to do is we have to shift right click and mapping, and we have a cylindrical map. Once you're done with that, you could see here, yeah, there's a red line. You can close the cylindrical map. Okay, once it's done, that's it. And I can see how it's done. Oh, I think I done the wrong one. Oh, I had to close it on the other way. Yeah, now it's full done. In fact, I can scale it up, scale it down. Hope we have discussed already about it. This is a cylindrical map. And let's say about a sphere. So in terms of a sphere, look at that. So in terms of sphere, it's the same thing, but in order to apply it, we need to choose shift right click and mapping. We have a spherical map. Yeah, now you see that this is spherical map, and let me turn this off. It's spherical map, and all I can do is fix this sideways, and look at the top and bottom is also small. I have to fix them also. Once it's done, that's it. Your spherical map is ready. So there are these 3 different kinds of mapping we have. Okay, so that's the point. So we discussed about a planar map and cylindrical map and the spherical map. So it's up to you to decide which mapping technique suits for the model. So being you a modeler, it is your duty to find out which model or which mapping technique suits your 3D model. Okay, and which texturing technique suits your 3D model. So there are certain things, and look at that, we already done some texturing here. And there is also another way. What is that? What if I don't want to do all this mapping by myself? It's take too much of time. Then I can do this. I can shift right click. I can go for mapping, and there is an automatic map. Voila! It is a really good option. Go to automatic map. You know why it's a good thing? Because Maya would decide which mapping would be better for this, but it is okay to use this for some faster modeling and texturing process, but not all the time. We don't recommend this. And let me go to polygon automatic mapping options. There are 12 planes, which means there will be Maya will create some virtual 12 planes, and it will project it and make it. Let's do this. Project. Look at that. So Maya creates 12 planes around it, and UV is unwrapped. Now it's done. Let's just like that and see. You see that? It's uniformly done. So this is automatic mapping. It works better at many cases. So I just undo this. So automatic mapping is also a good technique. And also other techniques are there. For example, let me select this one. For example, I have a few more things to show you. If you remember correctly, that yesterday in the previous video offers, we discussed something about texture. Please do remember about textures. For example, when you select this one, where is my UV window, UV editor? Yeah, UV. Because I don't know why this UV tool is window, so I just did this. Maybe it's just here. Okay, let me close this and panel UV editor. Yeah, here it is. So we have a UV toolkit here, and look at this toolkit. We discussed something about textures, and if you guys have remembered that proper, and you know what is textures, it's all about how much per 100 centimeter for this one, how many pixel quality you want. That's what we discussed here about. So I need 1024, so I prefer to go with 10.24. So let me select this and let me get this set back. Just 10.24 for that. And it's all about equally sharing the UV for each polygon. So there won't be a bigger texture for one polygon, smaller texture for one polygon. That variation you wouldn't find if you apply this texture that we have discussed. And please do spend some time practicing with this. And I highly recommend you to select all your models. If they are of a single polygon, it's just one-time process. You can just select them and you can apply this once. If not, you have to select each object every time and separately and hit set, then G. Oh, I'm sorry. G shouldn't work. Yeah. Set and set to that. So that's the way it works. So we have to select each object and do that. Set. So now you would understand why this is all needed. So if the poly count is too much, look at this object, there are too many poly counts here at the front. So it's taking a lot of time to process this. Then you would notice at the bottom left side of my Maya, it's loading. So let's let it end, then we shall continue further. So Yeah, it's all done now. So you would notice that all the models are having equal size of texture all over the object. So this is just one way of applying texture, and when you try to export this, I recommend you guys to select this one and export this as a separate file, this as a separate snapshot, this as a separate UV snapshot, and this as separate, this separate, and this separate. So in that way you could you can take all the files to Photoshop and paint them all separately, and you can apply them on separate shaders, and also you have to apply individual shaders for each object. In that way it will be much better. Okay, like I mentioned, you can try to use some of the plugins which people are using in the industry. So one such plugin I would recommend you is Malcolm plugin that you can find in the internet. You have to pay some few dollars for that, and also you can find some free version of that or trial version of those same. Let me tell you how to use that one. I'll just load my Malcolm plugin. I go here, the shelf tab. I think you can click here. So look at that. Here you can find a shelf tab. You can find here a load shelf. So you have to click that. So let's see. Click and load shelf. And here we are. So where is the new shelf? I think I prefer rather to go with my my project. I mean, yeah, and my modeling class, and here is my project. Yeah. So since I'm loading the shelves, I open my project modeling class, and here is my script folder. Here is shelf Malcolm. I just open it. Now you can find there is a new. Yeah, now you can find there is a new shelf here called Malcolm. It's a Malcolm script pack, and here I have many things like help, high poly, low poly. Then there are many such things there, and you can see there. And also I have a UV unwrap menu and UV mapper, unwrap and UV map and checker. There are many such things, and these are all I would say all these options are already available in Maya, and few options are not there. But this Malcolm plugin is just a one-stop where you can find all the solutions for your UV texturing much easier and comfort. And for me, it is much lot better option rather than using the default tools of Maya. So it's up to you. I just share a few of my thoughts and of my style. Okay, so let me show you what is special about this plugin. Let me select this object. We already textured it anyway, but anyway, let me show you how to do this now by using this Malcolm plugin. So let this UV toolkit be aside for a while so we can access it. And with this plugin enabled, yeah. So with this plugin enabled, I would like to try this Malcolm plugin. And here I have a UV unwrap option. Just click on this icon and you will get a UV unwrapping. Of course, it will by default it will rip off your UV editor and will show you this separately. So I think it's better I just minimize this window, and rather than this, I go with a single view of perspective and one UV editor. That will do. And then I have so I have a UV editor and the UV unwrapper. Right. Now look at these options here, and we have several options here in the Malcolm plugin. Some of them are look at that. We have checker map. It's something similar to your normal your UV checker board here. So this checker map, and you have a planar map camera. Then easy UV. It's an option where you can easily unwrap all the UVs of your Maya. Then you have unfold UV based on UVs and shell. Then 3D curtains hue option. You would remember that we usually access it from the last options of UV unwrapping, and then we can hit the unwrap button for unwrapping. So these are all one such option. And then we have another UV map. So this is also a similar one, but this is actually an update of the previous one. But this also works good, and many options are really will help you, just like your UV toolkit window. So anyway, let's go with one by one. So the first one here I do is I just select this one. Let me select the top cube here, and if I hit the checker map, I can get the checker map of the same option I can get here, so that I can get the same checker map. So you know, yeah, it's a similar one. It's actually, once you click this, it will enable it here. So that's what actually happening there. So this is checker map. Once you click it again, it will be disabled. Yeah. So but you don't need to open this window. Yeah. So checker map, wait, it's fine. Now it is disabled. The next one is I selected this object. Then let me hit the easy UV, and let's see what happens with this once I hit the easy UV option. Now, yep, look at that. So Maya just unwrapped it for me. It's called the easy UV option they have. So yeah, it's easy UV. What is easy UV in it? See the checker map. Now look at that. That's awesome. You see that it's probably unwrapped there. Yeah, but not on this side. Yep. Okay, this is what easy UV will do. And let me select this one and try easy UV again. It will unwrap the UV and it just make that. Fine, it's perfect there. Let me select this one and hit easy UV. Again, it just, yeah, it's done. Let me select this one and press easy UV. You can find all the UVs are properly and equally stretched, just like your pixel density. Now look at this one. Yep, it's done. And look at this one. We are not even unwrapped it. Look at that. Let's hit this easy UV. It will unwrap the object and divide it and give it to you. And it is much better than your automatic mapping. The reason why I prefer this is because it's better than Maya's automatic mapping. Now look at that. It's equally, all the textures are equally applied all over the model. So that is really one better way of applying textures. Yeah. So I prefer this one. And one more thing, if you don't remember, if you don't believe why I prefer this, let me undo this. Okay, it's now in a normal way. Let me go with my default UV mapping technique of automatic. So shift right click, mapping, and automatic I prefer. It's done now. Look at that, it's automatically done there. But look at the textures here. The texture not crossly, so crossly there. Yeah. So this is also, look at them, they're crossly aligned. Whereas when I use this, when I use my Malcolm's easy UV, it is properly aligned. Look at that, they're properly aligned and they are arranged here. That is much more important, right? Because we need the arrangements to be proper. Yeah. So easy UV. So everything is done. And after that, if you select this option, right click, now I go to UV, I select all the UVs there, and all I can do is I can unwrap and hit select, and you can hit unwrap also if you would like to do. Okay, so everything is done. So let me select this and hit unwrap. See, it's done. So no time, it's all done already. It's properly aligned already, so we don't need to do that. Let me select this and hit unwrap. So it's all the same. Okay, it's already done. So you could save most of your time in unwrapping the objects there. And select this one and hit unwrap. Yeah, it's all the same. So either you apply easy UV or you can unwrap. So everything will do the same. And there is one more tool here, like you can use your 3D cut and sew like we use, and you can exit from that, because what we do here is if you remember in my shelf, when I click this option, okay, it turns into, yeah, it turns into a 3D cut onto UVs. Yeah, 3D cut onto UV tool. But if I want to come out, I press W and I come out. Yeah. So here what I can do is, or you can press enter. Press here. I can press 3D cut onto UV. Now I got the tool, and by any point of time, if I would like to come back, I can just hit the exit button and come back. So it's a cool feature. So it's something like a one-stop where I can access all the tools. And there is an alignment option here, so I can align the UVs. Like I can select a few UVs here, and if, for example, if the UVs are like this, and if I want to select all the UVs, and I want them to align to the right, so I can just move align to the right, it'll move align to the right. You see that? Yeah, it's a good feature. Similarly, there are some other align tools, you can do that. And finally, you can select, you can try using this. You can select this object and you can just UV mapper, you have layout UVs. And of course, texture density is also there. But anyway, just hit layout UV, and already layout is done, but anyway, if you want, you can do that. Layout UVs, yeah, it's already done, but anyway, again, let me select this and layout UVs. Yeah, you might question, so what's the big thing? Nothing has happened. Yeah, that's the big thing. Nothing has happened. That is the cool option you have here with your Easy UV. You just click this button once. It will unwrap all the UVs for you. It will unwrap all the polygon. It will divide them equally. It will apply the textures, and the texture density, everything will be applied. Then it will be easily mapped, layout, and arranged and stacked it on your layout, like your control layout. So Easy, it's a good option for me. And if you'd like to spin the edges or hide border, there are many such things you could do with that. Okay, so that's the reason why I prefer to do it. So try this UV, try this Malcolm plugin. That really comes with handy. And yeah, so let's do that. And also there are many other tools you can find in this menu, which I didn't find time to work with everything, but if you prefer, you can try with that. Okay, so yeah, that's a bit this tool. So let me select this one. Yeah, everything is done. Look at that, everything's done. But I recommend you guys to try by your own, and do not merge them like this and apply the texture. That won't work good. Okay, don't lay it like this. Just select this object, then layout it separately. And select this one, layout separate. Select this one, layout separate. Similarly, you will do that. Then let me select this one and press my UV unwrap. Sorry, let me select this wrap. So let me try this Easy UV. Yep, it's done. Now so let me select this one, this object, and press Easy UV. Look at that. Yeah, it's cool, right? It's really cool, man. Look at that. Each and every option, it just disintegrates and apply the adaptive mode of UV unwrapping. Yeah, so everything's properly unwrapped. Is there anything there left which is not unwrapped by Malcolm? Nope. Everything is unwrapped. Look at that. Yeah, it's cool. So we could use them all now. Now if you select, you could see that all the objects are sharing the same amount of information there. And still, if you feel like you're not happy with this, like if you feel like this object is sharing big texture and this is sharing small texture or something like that, then I would highly recommend you guys to use this pixel. Then you would know how does this work. So if I'll save the scene as gun UV and Malcolm. Yeah. And look at that, just come down. We have a transform. Then we have under the tool section you can find texels. So 10.24 and map is 512, and it would take some time if you would try to do it. But now look at that, everything is done. All the textures are, yeah, look at that. All the textures are brought down, and now I think they are equally applied. Now look at that. Now all the models, all the shapes are having an equal texture. So now when you apply any texture, that will be properly applied onto this model. So go with that. So in the previous section, what we have seen is not all the UVs are having the same shapes, but now look at that. Each and every part is sharing a similar amount of texture. So it's up to you. But if you prefer to not have a similar amount of texture, for example, this spot will be having a smaller texture of the same color, or this spot will be having a bigger texture. If that's the scenario, then you just don't do this pixel, and then I don't recommend you guys to use the pixel. Do not use that then. Then if so, that just easy UV would fix all those things for you. So just press Z for undo. Now look at that. Yeah, that will work, man. But do not forget one thing, select the model, then you know all the UVs are there. Now you can just select all the UVs, then you can go to your modify, where's this UV snapshot? Sorry, under image you have a UV snapshot. Now you selected this one, just click this UV snapshot and export this image as your gun base. So gun base UV. Okay, under the images folder you can find that. So it's a gun base UV. Apply. Wait. Yeah. Then just select this one. This is your muzzle. So that's a muzzle. This is just a thermal sensor of the corona vaccinator. So you can select this one, and you can anyway I just named it as muzzle. So just go with E muzzle UV and I apply. It's done. Then let me select this object here, and this is where you fire the thing. So let me name this as let it be a syringe man. Yeah, syringe UV. Apply. Then yeah, you can see the result there. Save the file, image syringe UV.png. Once it's done, once I got the message, only then I proceed to the next option. That's it's a confirmation message I received from Maya. Because without confirmation, please never do anything just blindly. Because you are a designer, so you should know what's happening with your damn system. Yeah, great, man. Now select this one. Then, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So this one here, select this. Just name this as your what? That's your magazine UV. Apply. Yeah, you got the result. Then select we've done this. That's a base. I think we done it. Maybe I can check with my Maya log. We have the Maya log here. Yeah. Anyway, it's better I check my system where the files are. So let me put my images, and here they are. So it's my gun base magazine. Yeah, then my muzzle, gun base magazine muzzle, and I think this is the old file which I used for the container, so I don't want this one. So then we have a syringe. Yeah, that's done. So let's go back to Maya. So then select this one. This is your the LCD viewer where you can see all the messages about. Let's say that's LCD screen. LCD display where you can see the info. So LCD display, just apply. Then this is the trigger. So the trigger. Let's select everything here. Then go for trigger. So if it is a gun, whatever it might be, you need a trigger. So trigger, then a syringe here. Oh boy, yeah, this is a syringe. I think I already made a syringe. I already named something as syringe, isn't it? Okay, let's just let it be one with us. So then I just name it as a needle, maybe. Yeah, that'll work. Then apply. Good. And this one, this is the base of the needle. Sorry, this one. Sorry, this one. So I just name this, select all the faces. Oh my god, select all the faces here. Then I name this as what is this? Needle base. Yeah, good one. Needle base. Then I think I didn't miss anything except this small guy. Yeah. Yep. And this is your muzzle loader, because once you press the button, the muzzle will be loaded or unloaded. You know, if you play the gun. Yes, it's all done, I believe. Let me select all these things and see. I should switch to my object mode. Yeah, it's too much fuzzy here, but we have exported all the files into separate UVs here. Look at that. Yeah, display is too black. So this is my guns UV and LCD display UV, magazine UV, then muzzle loader, muzzle UV, needle base, needle UV, and this is my previous class. Anyway, so and of course, guys, I prefer this one, iPhone view. If you see that, I prefer this viewer. It's iPhone view. If you would like to use this one, you can use this, because it's an open source one, image viewer, and it's much easy. All you can do is you can just double click and you can just use this. It's iPhone view, you can find for easily. And the good thing with earphone view is why I prefer this. You can select anywhere of this, anywhere in the image, and you can just, yeah, it will be unloaded. Double click, you can just press your minus to minimize and plus to maximize, and enter to go inside, plus again, minus again. So and press your right click to click and escape to come out. It's easy load and easy go. So I prefer this image loader. It's up to you. I'm just sharing my opinion with you guys. So anyway, it's all done. Now UV Molcom is also done. Let me save this file. Yep. Let's discuss about this how to texture in Photoshop. Hope you might know how we did this for the previous Photoshop. First, you can take all the UVs now into Photoshop and bring them all back and apply over on it. Hope you guys know how to do that. So let's discuss something about how to do some advanced texturing and shading options. Yeah. Thank you guys, and please do practice.